Why do some women, even the most intelligent and self-aware among them, find themselves magnetically drawn to men who act as if they are invisible? Why does absence feel intoxicating and neglect taste like desire? It seems irrational to the conscious mind, but the unconscious mind does not operate on logic. It operates on memory, on wounds, on the patterns written in the soul long before the present moment ever arrived. Carl Jung would have said that what we call attraction is often the soul recognizing something familiar. Familiar not because it is healthy, but because it has been with us before. A man's indifference is not simply the absence of attention. It is a vibration, a frequency that can resonate with the deepest chambers of the psyche. For some women, it stirs the echo of the very first attachments, the moments in childhood when love was uncertain, when approval had to be earned, when affection was conditional. A father's eyes that never fully met hers, a mother too consumed by her own storms to see the hunger in her child's heart. A first love who seemed to hold the key to belonging but never opened the door. These are not events we carry in conscious memory every day. They become feelings woven into the fabric of our being. And when we encounter someone who carries the same energy, something ancient awakens. We mistake this awakening for chemistry, for passion, even for destiny. But it is not destiny, it is recognition. Not the recognition of the soul's other half, but the recognition of an old wound that has been waiting to be seen. Jung called this the compulsion to repeat, a strange magnetic force that pulls us back into the very dynamics that once broke us. The unconscious believes that if we can find someone who embodies the qualities of the original wound and finally get them to give us what was once withheld, we will be free. The hope is to heal through repetition, but instead, we find ourselves trapped. The ending rarely changes because the person we have chosen is often incapable of giving what we seek. And so, the wound deepens. The more he withholds, the more our energy is drawn into the fantasy that his love would prove our worth. Every unanswered text, every delayed reply, every refusal to open emotionally becomes a hook that sinks deeper into our psyche. It is not the man himself who is addictive. It is the hope that his eventual recognition will rewrite the past. But addiction thrives on hope without resolution. He does not need to give her love for the bond to strengthen. In fact, his withholding is the fuel. The more she chases, the more she invests. And the more she invests, the harder it becomes to imagine walking away. To leave him would feel like leaving the possibility of finally healing. She is not addicted to him as a person. She is addicted to the chance to repair the wound he represents. Jung understood that addiction, whether to substances, to work, or to people, is never about the object of desire itself. It is about the psychic energy we have unconsciously tied to it. In this case, the man becomes a screen for projection. Onto him she casts the disowned parts of herself, her longing to be chosen, her fear of abandonment, her need to be seen as worthy. He becomes, in her mind, the gatekeeper of her value. Without realizing it, she has given him the power to decide whether she is enough. But here lies the truth. No one can carry that responsibility without distorting it. And no one, no matter how they change, can truly fill the space inside her that she has been avoiding herself. Even if he were to suddenly turn warm, attentive, and loving, the hunger would not vanish. Because hunger is not for him. It is for herself. The self she abandoned when she learned to measure her worth through another's approval. His coldness is not the source of her emptiness. It is the mirror reflecting it. And mirrors are powerless until we choose to look away from them and turn inward. Breaking this spell is not about winning the game of his attention. It is about refusing to play the game at all. The first crack in the illusion comes when she sees him not as a savior, not as the missing piece, but as the messenger. His role in her life is not to complete her, but to reveal where she is still incomplete. His absence is the echo of an earlier absence. His rejection is the reenactment of an earlier rejection. And when she sees this pattern, when she connects the dots, the magnetic pull begins to lose some of its force. Turning inward is not easy. It requires her to meet the part of herself she has avoided for years, the abandoned child, the neglected heart, the part of her that has been silently waiting for her own love. But when she dares to do this, something profound happens. She begins to become the one she was always looking for. She becomes the one who notices her, the one who chooses her, the one who stays. This is the essence of what Jung called individuation, the process of becoming whole. Individuation is not about becoming perfect. It is about reclaiming the parts of ourselves we have scattered into the hands of others. For the woman who has been addicted to the man who treats her as nothing, individuation is the moment she realizes she was never chasing him. She was chasing herself. And when she understands this deeply, the cycle can end. She may still think of him, still remember the longing, but the longing will feel different now. It will not pull at her with the same urgency. She will not confuse it for love. She will see him clearly for the first time, not as the keeper of her worth, but simply as a man. A man who reflected her wounds, but who cannot hold them anymore. And she can walk away, not because she has stopped caring, but because she has started caring more about herself. Freedom is not something he gives her by changing. Freedom is something she claims by withdrawing her projection. And when she does, she will feel the strange, quiet peace that comes when you no longer need to be chosen to know your worth. She will see the truth Jung knew so well, that the love we chase in others is often the love we have been withholding from ourselves. And here is the great paradox. The moment she no longer needs his attention, his approval, or his presence, she becomes untouchably powerful. The spell is broken. The man who once seemed like the answer is revealed as an empty vessel, and she, at last, can hear the voice that was always there beneath the noise. Her own voice, the one that says, "I see you. I choose you. You are enough." And so, if you have followed me this far, through the twisting corridors of desire, power, and illusion, you already know that what draws us is not always what will save us. Attraction is not proof of compatibility. Longing is not proof of love. Sometimes, the very magnetism that pulls us in is the same force that will strip us of our peace, our clarity, and our sense of self. To break free, you must be willing to do what most will not, to stand alone in the cold silence of truth rather than bask in the fleeting warmth of false attention. You must become unshakable in your own worth, so no absence can make you beg, no rejection can make you chase, and no silence can make you scream for recognition. Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." The invisible chains you feel are not forged by the other person. They are forged in the hidden parts of your own psyche, the places where old wounds and unmet needs whisper in the dark. Bring them to light, and the spell is broken. If you are listening now, let this be the moment you decide. You will not be a prisoner of the games others play. You will not define yourself by who chooses to see you. You are already seen, by yourself. You are already chosen by yourself. And if you walk away, remember, leaving is not a loss. Sometimes it is the highest act of self-respect. Sometimes it is the only way to hear your own soul speak again. This is the rational soul. If this journey spoke to something buried within you, I invite you to stay with us. Subscribe, share, and help this message reach those still trapped in the shadows. Together, we will keep pulling truth into the light.